Hollywood has officially entered its "did he really just say that" era, and today's headline is the kind of chaotic celebrity lore that future historians will study when trying to understand why society collapsed. The entertainment world woke up gasping, clutching pearls, dropping phones, and refreshing group chats after a revelation so bizarre, so unexpected, so cosmically unnecessary that it has instantly become one of the most iconic overshares in celebrity history. Yes, Justin Baldoni apparently told Blake Lively he was circumcised in her own home, and somehow this moment wasn't even the strangest part of the ongoing Baldoni-Lively saga. Oh no, this was just one tiny tile in a massive mosaic of legal drama, beautiful privilege, and two people who absolutely should never have worked together on a movie about trauma healing. Now, before we deep dive into the rib-cracking chaos of this Hollywood feud, take a second. Imagine waking up, walking into your kitchen, grabbing a coffee, and the first thing you see on your timeline is Justin Baldoni told Blake Lively he was circumcised at her home. Deposition reveals. Life really doesn't warn you for these things. The universe just throws them at you like pop quizzes. Suddenly, everyone who had a normal job, a normal brain, or a normal sense of boundaries is now sitting in stunned silence wondering how this became relevant to anything. But my friends, it became relevant the moment lawyers got involved. Because in Hollywood, even the weirdest personal details can turn into courtroom ammunition. So let's rewind the tape. December 2022. Justin Baldoni goes to Blake Lively's New York City home, not for dinner, not for a casual visit, but to talk business. They were discussing Blake potentially joining the film adaptation of It Ends With Us, the Colleen Hoover novel that launched 1,000 TikTok crying filters. And somewhere between talking contracts and creative vision, the conversation reportedly veered into the topic of circumcision, specifically whether Blake and Ryan planned to circumcise their unborn son. Now, most people, when standing in someone else's apartment talking about their baby, would smile awkwardly, maybe nod, and try to redirect the convo back to normal human topics. But Justin Baldoni? No. He apparently decided to voluntarily announce that he himself is circumcised. Not only did Blake not ask, she didn't even gesture toward wanting to know. And according to Baldoni, this wasn't a private moment. Ryan Reynolds was drifting in and out of the room, household staff were floating past, and at any given moment, someone making hors d'oeuvres could have overheard Baldoni casually explaining his surgical past. Imagine being the nanny walking by with a tray of snacks just in time to hear, "Oh yeah, I'm circumcised." You'd immediately start updating your resume. But this odd little revelation didn't stay a behind-the-scenes anecdote. It resurfaced in Baldoni's deposition as part of the now enormous legal battle between him and Blake Lively. And that's when everyone collectively lost their ability to function. Because what started as a tense workplace conflict has turned into the most dramatic feud since Taylor Swift versus Scooter Braun, but with significantly more discussions about foreskin. Now, here's where things go from to Hollywood lawsuit fever dream. Blake Lively filed a sexual harassment and workplace misconduct case against Baldoni in late 2024, claiming he created a hostile environment during the making of It Ends With Us. And Baldoni responded with the energy of a man flipping over a Monopoly board by launching a $400 million countersuit that accused Blake, Ryan, and basically anyone sitting within a 10-mile radius of conspiring to destroy him. Spoiler alert, the countersuit was almost entirely dismissed. Judges basically looked at it like, "Sir, be serious."
Meanwhile, Blake Lively has been steadfast that her case is not only valid, but vital, stating in court filings that this isn't a story about minor annoyances or workplace bickering. It's about patterns of behavior she found inappropriate. And this circumcision conversation, it wasn't listed as harassment, but it was brought up to illustrate inappropriate oversharing and boundary crossing. But zoom out for a second. Let's talk about It Ends With Us, the movie that started this entire celebrity thunderstorm. When production began, fans expected soft lighting, floral scarves, and passionate monologues about emotional healing. What they did not expect was a real-life implosion between the two lead stars, both of whom were executive producers, both of whom were allegedly fighting behind the scenes, both of whom seemed to have wildly different interpretations of how to behave at work. It was like method acting, but for mutual irritation. By the time filming wrapped, the internet knew something was off. Their promo photos looked like two Pinterest boards forced into the same frame. Even their smiles looked like they had lawyers standing behind them. And then the lawsuits dropped, confirming that yes, the vibes were exactly as weird as they seemed. So how does the circumcision confession fit into this? Think of it like this. Hollywood lawsuits are like giant lasagnas, layer after layer after layer of messy, complicated, cheesy drama. And this particular layer was simply an example of Baldoni being, well, Baldoni. A moment where he allegedly crossed a conversational boundary so aggressively and so unexpectedly that even years later, it made it into a legal document. Imagine being the clerk who had to type that sentence. And let's be real, the internet is obsessed. You cannot give the public a story where a man randomly announces his circumcision status to Blake Lively in her living room and expects society to behave normally afterward. People were making memes within seconds. Someone tweeted, "Ryan Deadpool better be drafting Deadpool 4 right now." And honestly, accurate. If this doesn't end up as a Deadpool cutaway gag, Ryan is missing an opportunity. But let's address the bigger picture, because even though this detail is hilarious, absurd, and peak Hollywood weirdness, the overall situation is dead serious. Blake's lawsuit is heading to trial in March 2026. Baldoni's attempts to shut it down have failed. The court wants the full story. And this entire saga isn't just gossip. It's part of an unfolding legal battle with real consequences for both careers. Still, no matter how dramatic this gets, the circumcision comment will forever live in infamy because it symbolizes everything we find bizarrely fascinating about celebrity culture. The oversharing, the lack of boundaries, the way ordinary human behavior collapses under the weight of fame, ego, and expensive lighting. And let's spare a moment for Ryan Reynolds, who by all reports was simply wandering in and out of rooms while this entire exchange was happening. Ryan is a man who built an empire on sarcasm. The fact that he hasn't commented on this publicly yet shows an amount of self-control that belongs in a museum. If he ever breaks and tweets something like, "I leave the room for 2 minutes," the internet will explode. What's wild is that this single sentence, "I'm circumcised," has now become a permanent part of the Hollywood canon. It will be quoted in future documentaries, future Twitter nostalgia threads, future books about messy movie sets. If aliens ever land and ask for an explanation of human society, someone is going to hand them the deposition transcript and say, "We honestly don't know either." But here's what really seals the deal. This moment has shifted the tone of the entire feud. Before today, people saw the Baldoni-Lively drama as a tense Hollywood dispute. Now it's mythological. It has entered the pantheon of unforgettable celebrity moments. It sits comfortably alongside What's in the Box, Britney shaving her head, Tom Cruise on Oprah's couch, and Jada entanglement. And the trial hasn't even started yet. Just imagine the next plot twists. Imagine the witness list. Imagine trying not to sigh loudly in the courtroom. Imagine the memes emerging from this trial. The internet will need chiropractic care. But until that spectacle arrives, we have this story. A story about boundaries, workplace conflicts, and one man's spontaneous declaration of circumcision in the middle of someone else's home. A story that proves Hollywood is not just a place of glitz and glamour, but also a place where people forget how conversations work. And honestly, thank goodness. Because without moments like this, what would we gossip about? Taxes? No, we needed this. The world needed this. Our group chats needed this. So as we continue watching Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni prepare for one of the most anticipated Hollywood trials in years, just remember, this is only the beginning. If this is the appetizer, imagine the entree. Stay hydrated, stay seated, keep your phones charged. The drama will escalate. And with that, thank you for diving into the bizarre, hilarious, unhinged labyrinth of Hollywood's latest scandal. If you want more updates, more chaos, more celebrity overshares that make you wonder if anyone famous has ever taken a communication workshop, then you know what to do. Subscribe to Inside Hollywood, where the drama never sleeps, but we absolutely lose sleep reporting on it.